folks will be coming back shortly and everything along those lines. But yeah, I don't know what happened, but we had people hitting buttons that they didn't need to hit and everything like that. So that's what happens in modern technology and everything like that. But we're back and we're talking about the economics of the war and everything like that. I see I've got Kim back with me and just will be back with me, and we'll see who else pops in as well. Hopefully, Rick and Sasha was giving us some thoughts around what's going on in England and England's role and everything like that. So, Chitovi, until we hear from Sasha, what's your thoughts about Keir Starmer and this notion of them getting involved? Because I did hear that I mean not Sasha, but Trump was saying that they were Johnny come latelys to the war and that we didn't need their help and everything like that.
Yeah, kind of threw for a loop when I went on a phone call and came back. Everybody's gone. I don't know what Sasha was talking about.
Did Mark say Nazi again?
I said no such thing.
I know every time we use that word, But let's talk about, and I hope David, because David got bounced off. I hope he gets the word. But the economic situation is not good for the United States. One, because we are making extreme enemies out of other people who we have now become a target for revenge and avenge. But we're not making any friends. We've got other countries banning us and banning support for us, which doesn't help. And, I think there could have been a better way to handle the war. Like, I just think that if you can't, in this day and time, negotiate things a little bit better, and I know Iran is probably not a country that is worth negotiating with, but you just can't.
They are worth negotiating
for no cause, but we are now Department of War. We are not Department of Defense. He kind of gave us a heads up when he built that department. So that was our warning. I just want you guys to know.
I want to talk about international travel. We have a lot of people here who travel in and out of the U.S., and that seems like into the near future, maybe longer than the near future, that's going to be risky. And, like my wife and I once a year maybe fly LA to London. Mm-hmm. That seems ill-advised for the next, I don't know how long. Like, I'm talking to my wife about maybe we fly to Canada first and then we do Canada to Europe instead of directly US to Europe, because I feel like, among the ways that Iran may get revenge is by targeting US passenger jets.
And Thoughts? They will. They already started. They already tried to take down a Southwest Airlines going from Nashville to Fort Lauderdale. And that was diverted to Atlanta. So I've canceled all of my domestic travel because of that, because, when 9/11 happened, they didn't need guns to go on the planes to take over. And I just feel like that they are going to start targeting our planes because planes can be used as bombs. Mm-hmm. So I think that by doing what we did the way we did, by our president doing things, knee-jerking and being reckless, he put us at risk and danger and jeopardized our safety for whatever his agenda is. And that is not what our administration should be doing. They should be putting our safety, our country's safety first. And I canceled all international travel last year, the minute Trump got into office and our planes started going down, because we don't have a TSA manager worth, he's too risky too. He scares me. So I agree with you, Rick, because they've already started their tactical deployment.
Well, let me ask, is that a reasonable strategy? Would that be effective to travel to, I don't know?
No, I wouldn't get on a plane to go anywhere. I'm going to DC to help support a bill here real soon with a team of people. And I decided to go by train because I felt like with the war it was going to bring us more danger, and it's already started. So I'm just doing all my travel by train. Take a train to Canada and then fly out of Canada to wherever you want to go. That I agree with. That would probably be a better strategy. Don't you agree, Sasha?
I don't know. It looks like so close from Los Angeles to Vancouver on a map, but in reality, it's quite a distance. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not very quick
Yeah,
travel.
it's like 1,000
No, but
miles.
it's beautiful. Oh my God, I've done the train from Colorado to San Francisco, and they have domed trains. So, but that train actually went all the way down to LA. That is probably the most beautiful train ride I ever boarded. And you can make it a little bit longer vacation, ride the train up to Canada, enjoy the views. The views are phenomenal on that train ride. And then, go from there. But I don't think it's going to be safe flying in and out of any American airport. If I were the TSA, I would probably shut it down for a while.
Hey,
So
Toby.
that plane that was that Southwest that was diverted, I think it might have been just a lone crazy person, and they found no credible threat. On the other hand,
So they didn't find bombs on there, but you're going to get a lot of suicide people who are going to do whatever it takes to take us down. You're just going to get a lot of them, and all it takes is one. And they're going to get more organized. These are the people who are just mad. It's going to become organized. You wait.
So, what is exactly United States achieved by creating all these problems for travelers, getting gas much more expensive, and it's actually moving slowly to $5 per gallon? And what's achieved? Okay, so you sacrificed all that to achieve something else. And what that's something else that U.S. was able to achieve. It became puppet in Netanyahu's hands. He's playing Trump like a little yo-yo. So for Netanyahu, it's existential war. For Trump, I don't understand what he's doing in Iran. What's his goal? What's exit strategy? What is all that? If he will not, I'll tell you this, if he will not be able to solve Strait of Hormuz problem in next 2 to 3 days, it's all done and over. He has to just say, sorry, I was wrong. Okay, my apologies to Iranian people, to American people, to all people, and just get the hell out.
No, he won't do that. It will take us overthrowing him and putting somebody in who will apologize and rebuild any relationships if that's possible. But the cost on America is phenomenal, not just the financial, but I'm talking about the lives and putting us at risk and danger, because his number one goal should have been our safety. And nobody, and this is the problem I have with any MAGA, no one has any critical thinking skills. They knee jerk and they're reckless. They do not think out the consequences that could happen. And I believe that this was chaos used, one, to distract from other things going on, be it Epstein files or some other shenanigans. But I think the big thing was, now that after listening to David today, it really opened up another puzzle to build with the pieces. Is I kept saying this had to do with the oil because of where the port of transportation is. But I think that this had everything to do with the oil because they were trying to choke out China and not thinking that China has been stopped. China prepares. They are planned. They are prepared, and they have said from get-go that they can withstand anything that Trump throws at them. They can just wait it out for 10 or 15 years. They can hold on. Maybe not that long, but they have stockpiled their oil reserves. This is not hurting them. Their energy sources are far greater than any of ours because we buy ours from them, and they don't need oil to run a lot of their energy sources. So China, I think he did this to choke out China because China hasn't bending his way. And I think all he's done is stubbed his toe again. I'm just going to say that I'm waiting for him to eventually stub all his toes, and maybe we can get somebody else in office. Thank you.
Nick's playing with his buttons again.
Yeah, the technical difficulty was Suspante. I didn't touch anything, but Mark, you and Kim got 3 viral clips. You got 1, Mark, and Kim had 2. The one they liked the most was when you're talking about U.S. servicemen sleeping on the floor at the airport.
Yeah, that's.
Don't ask me.
I got videos of that. I got videos of that,
Really?
and it's so sad. It's so sad. They should. You know what? They don't get paid better than ICE. They get paid less than ICE. They don't get any benefits like places to stay. They don't have funds for stuff like this. And if they're sent out for less than 90 days, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they're sent out for less than 90 days, then they don't get paid for their travel expenses. The people who are in the reserves, they will not be compensated for a lot of their time spent either if it's less than 90 days. So Trump could have them on a 90-day turnaround, and then cut their pay, cut their travel expenses, and everything comes out of their pocket. So
We'll have to check on that. But by the way, we have not heard in almost 2 shows now from our good friend, Dr. Sharif. So, Dr. Sharif, what is your thoughts on this whole Iran war and everything like that? So, how are you doing, and what is your thoughts on what's going on? We haven't heard from you today.
Thank you to give me the opportunity. If you see the present energy issues and other things, example in Bangladesh, it's in trouble. Right now, all of our energy sources, it's look like it's collapsing. And specifically our transportations, our housing energy, our manufacturing industry energies, it's in trouble conditions. And I believe that if it's continue in long run, it will heavily affected in South Asia and Asia Pacific economy as well. So there are some massive challenges right now. Number one, USA go with these tariff issues. Tariff create economic and political challenges for Bangladesh and many countries in South Asia. Secondly, USA move with these immigration issues. These immigration issues also creating challenges. And finally, the Iran war, as Iran has strong control.
Did he freeze on me?
Yeah, he froze.
Okay.
So, yeah, as Iran has strong control over Hormuz, that may be challenging. And this war, not only right now in Iran, it's heavily affected in the Middle East, like in Saudi Arabia. Few Bangladeshi people died in Saudi Arabia. In UAE, few Bangladeshi died in UAE. In Qatar, in many countries, people are dying, and it's caused a lot of imbalancing situations. I believe that the big countries, not only like USA, like Russia, and all of the countries, they should be more responsible. They should. It's not like a TV show or fun or WWF championship, right? It's a politics. Billions of people live depend on these things. Like as a politician, you cannot behave like you are running a show in WWF. It's look like this is my honest opinion, how USA is dictating with tariff, with immigration, with Iran war, with all of the things. It's look like WWF championship. So it's create a very, very, very negative impact all of the human lives, and it's priceless. Human lives is valuable. Definitely, China will took leaderships in the global economy soon.
Appreciate you and everything like that. Nick, what's your take on all of this? You're a big fan of other countries like Bangladesh. I'm waiting for you to go there and support Dr. Sharif in his efforts to have our youth help us.
Well, it's problematic now going to visit Dr. Sharif because all the flights go through Dubai and Dr. Sharif knows this. You go to Dubai first, and then you go on to Bangladesh. You go to Qatar first, then you go to Bangladesh. Now the real problem is, even going to see Dr. Sharif, I can't go because I have to go through, Qatar or Dubai, and they're both have bombs all around them. So it's, I think it's slowing down the world economy because of that. And I also agree with Dr. Sharif and also certain countries like Bangladesh and India, because they get all their oil supply from the Middle East. And now the thing is, it's basically cut off. It's driven the prices of oil up, which drives the cost of consumer goods up. And so it makes it a very difficult economic situation, which is one reason you're seeing the stock market react negatively to this. It's because of the it's adverse to the economy. Yeah, right.
So I'm looking at Hegseth in an interview who says that the U.S. will settle for nothing less than unconditional surrender.
Yeah, I saw that interview.
And people who know history apparently are saying we've only had unconditional surrender a few times in history. Germany and Japan in World War II, and both those times required millions of troops invading those countries to enforce the surrender. And Iran has 1 million troops available. And so it's going to take hundreds of thousands of, if we put boots on the ground, it'll take hundreds of thousands of fucking boots to achieve that.
I guess the only other way that you can have unconditional surrender, and I don't know that that's ever existed, Sasha can tell me if I'm wrong, is maybe some of the wars way back in the ancient times when the country was blown to oblivion and everything like that, which is what it seems like Trump is going for and everything like that. So that would be unconditional surrender, even though I don't think that that's a fair surrender and everything like that.
It would take an incredible amount of resources, both human and otherwise, to
Rick,
blow up Iran, which is 2.5 times the size of Texas.
Yeah, but they have showed their laser weapons now that destroy these drones on impact, and they only cost $3 to shoot. But now the U.S. is going to unveil their robot army, and when the robot army comes out, you'll see the robot army in the millions will level Iran.
Being in the tech world, all that is AI and all fake. There is no robot army because nobody has the technology currently to do anything of that nature. Nobody has the lasers, the laser capability or the laser capacity to create a laser and do all these things. So yeah, that has to be all sarcasm.
But between the robot army and the laser guns, it'll be.
The only realistic aspect of modern warfare that's changed is inexpensive drones, and that's changed the face of warfare. But the robot army, no.
But that's what I was alluding to earlier on World Edition, because apparently there's this other weapon that's out there that uses microwave technology that can destroy the drones. It can also incapacitate people and everything like that. So what is that?
That was the Havana syndrome.
Yeah,
that was based off of that, and yeah, that's been around for decades. But also in terms of utilizing something like that, you don't have the capacity to use that in a wartime situation or a warfare situation. So yes, you have the Havana syndrome, which based on the microwaves and all that technology, but it's not small enough to be able to affect anything. Drone warfare is where it is.
The Royal Guard of Iran, there have been some of the members that have survived that, and that's what they described. They described it as if they were incapacitated by this weaponry. So there is some notion that is what
that's happened to the U.S. as well. That's happened to military soldiers from the U.S. as well. So again, it's not something that is going to be utilized in this war. Worst thing that's going to happen in this war is the fact that we're probably going to reach into chemical warfare as well.
Well, let's go back to drones. Iran has an estimated 80,000 drones right now, is producing hundreds a day. The U.S. is engaging in a push to have 30,000 drones by July. So right now, Iran has drone dominance. And you can't, because drones are cheap. You can throw up a lot of them, and you're not going to be able to knock them all down with lasers or sound weapons.
But coming back to the chemical notion of chemical warfare, and I do agree that could happen and everything, but isn't that against the Geneva Convention and everything like that? So are we just going to disregard some of the rules of war and everything like that in this?
Mark, you're asking that question and you know the answer to it. We've bombed and killed people off the coast of South America last year and this year. We blew up a naval ship in international waters that had just finished participating in a demonstration. They were asked to demonstrate in that demonstration. They were invited to. We blew them up and left the people on the ship to drown. So everything you stated about it being against the Geneva Convention, against it makes it illegal warfare and so on and so forth. This administration has done that and hasn't faced any consequences. So what makes you think that they're going to stop now?
True that, because that was that whole engagement between Sri Lanka and India, and yes, they were invited to participate in that demonstration and everything like that. So yeah.
But getting back to the economic side of it, costing $1 billion a day. We're on the 10th day of the war, actually. So we are well on our way to spending a ton of money, not only for the war, but then if you think about it, the stock market is already down, 500 points today, and it probably will fall even further. Average gas prices are rising, as Sasha continually points out, which we should listen to. That hits everything that Trump has tried to parrot. He can no longer go out and say, hey, gas is $2 in some podunk town that nobody goes to and they have coupons to make it below $2. No, he can't randomly go that.
Look, you're discussing all kind of chemical warfare or drones or anything else. Your focus has to be only on one thing, reopening of Strait to Hormuz. If that is not going to be done in next 2 to 3 days, that's the end of the war. America has to go out, ask forgiveness from everybody, pay reparation to Iran and several other, for example, Arab states in the region who were bombarded by Iran and so on. Get the hell out of there, get back to the United States, have all the fortifications to fight Canada and Mexico, and just stay the hell there and not show up your ugly face anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's definitely, they got to get it to Hormuz. But as y'all were talking, it occurred to me that the other thing, and you'll love this, Nick, that is going on is that he is, because we know that Trump is very transactional, and he is creating a situation where a lot of his companies will have jobs to do, because I'm thinking about the rebuilding of Ukraine, the rebuilding of Iran, the rebuilding of a number of other things, and I'm sure that he's going to be putting in kids, either him or his family members, to do some of those constructions and everything like that. So is this part of what's going on?
Trump is not a competent builder. At one point, there were 17 Trump buildings in New York City. Trump only owned 3 of them. The other 14 they just leased his name to make it sound classy back before, Trump was seen as kind of an a-hole. He's not that great a builder.
What about ballrooms? Maybe he should start building ballrooms around the world. In Saudi Arabia, a couple of ballrooms, in United Emirates, 5 ballrooms, and so on. Just Trump ballroom. Okay, it's a great project.
Well, I mean, a test of his ability to build is Gaza. He and Jared Kushner are supposed to be putting this coalition together to rebuild Gaza. If he can't rebuild a tiny ass country that's only 150 square miles, how is he going to rebuild any of these other places?
Just to point out, Trump, he's a failed businessman. But to get back to the economics part, and what Dr. Sharif pointed out, honestly, is something that we really, really, really need to listen to. Because, for example, the reason I want to point this out, also Sasha mentioned it as well in terms of paying back individuals. because that's what is going to hit the U.S. next. Because if this is deemed illegal in international waters or deemed an illegal war or an illegal attack, right now, the tariffs as a prime example is what I want to make this analogous to. The tariffs were deemed illegal. They had to let the tariffs go. Right now, states are starting to sue the federal government. Guess who else is suing? Nintendo. Nintendo, an actual Japanese-based company, is suing the U.S. around tariffs, which means if they lose that lawsuit, which they most likely will, due to the fact that the tariffs were deemed illegal, that means the U.S. government or the U.S. itself is going to have to pay compensation to Nintendo, a company. Now, if that hits places like Bangladesh, which I'm sure there are multiple companies in Bangladesh that would seek legal action and some type of legal recourse based on what comes out of this Nintendo situation, we're looking at this war easily, even if it were to end today, easily costing trillions of dollars because of places and other companies that would turn around and sue the U.S. for starting and creating an illegal war.
I have a theory that Trump figured out a long time ago, or not so long time ago, doesn't matter, that he and his party will definitely lose midterm election. So he understands if things will go the way they go or so on, he will lose this election and he will be impeached or so on. So therefore, he won't start to extraordinary means to destabilize situation, probably maybe even cancel this midterm election or do anything that will change the present order of power. So that's why I think his war against Iran is a desperate thing of a desperate man. That's all what there is to it. They never even took care to predict very simple things, that Iran will attack American bases in the region. It will attack their friends in the region. They will wait until Iran will stabilize situation. They will start taking American hostages around the world. If America will put their troops on the ground, they will catch U.S. servicemen and extract payment for $1 million plus for each serviceman that will be captured. You just don't understand what people you're fighting with. You don't understand the Iranian psychology, Iranian culture of 5,000 years old or so on. You just don't get it, but you will, and soon enough.
And on that note, we're going to get out of here on economics, get ready to go to media and timeshare, but another interesting and fun show. And hopefully David Walker will be back with us on next week, and he can tell us what he was doing in New York. I'm sure he was doing some active campaigning and lobbying and all along those lines. But on that note, we're going to get out of here. We've got media coming up, and then after media, we've got the timeshare show and a number of other shows on the network as well. But I'll see you gentlemen later on.